So now that we're in this sort of Pokemon market where things are skyrocketing, prices are double MSRP, things aren't as cheap as they used to be at release, a lot of people have been talking about this smart money and investing into the things that people aren't focusing on right now and just not paying attention to all of the attention that some of these new sets are getting, such as Surging Sparks and Prismatic Evolutions. Now, I think this is somewhat true. Focusing on things that people aren't focusing on, as of right now, especially if you're in it for the long term, this is a good strategy, just not diving into the hype and all this other stuff. But one thing I will say about this strategy is this. With Surging Sparks, if you were to have told me this, to not buy any Surging Sparks, what I was able to get my boxes at, that don't follow this hype, Surging Sparks are going to crash and it's all overhyped, I'm not focusing on this, I'm just going to ignore it, I wouldn't have the boxes I have till this day, and I wouldn't have, had this performance that I've had with these boxes if that was the case, if I just ignored all the hype with Surging Sparks. And you can see here, these boxes now are like 215 or whatever. They've, seen a plateau, but even still, like I was able to get these in the low hundreds. So I did pretty well here by following the hype, by, looking at the cards, obviously other than just, the hype that I was looking at, all the demand for the set that I was seeing. But if I was looking at the cards, I mean, just even with the hype, whatever, this is just a good set. In my opinion, just objectively looking at the set before, it actually came out, looking at these cards, I'm like, okay, this is going to be probably the best main set we've seen so far from Scarlet and Violet. And just ignoring the hype, I just sort of knew this. I'm like, okay, this is a good set. Yeah, there's hype. Some people are saying not to fall into it. I'm going to buy it regardless because I know this is a good set. And even long term, even though there is hype now, maybe some of this stuff, you want to call it artificially inflated, whatever. I know this is a good set. I'm buying into it regardless of people saying don't buy into hype, whatever. And I did it, and I've done pretty well. And it's sort of the same thing with Prismatic Evolutions, but it's a little bit different. So it's the same way with Prismatic in the ways that these are both have been very hyped up. Prismatic obviously, a bit more than Surging Sparks, but they're different in the way that, Prismatic is a lot more expensive than Surging Sparks was if you do percentage wise, because Surging Sparks, you could have pre-ordered them for $100. When they were released, it was 160, it dropped to 150. So what is that, a 50% gain? But Prismatic Evolutions is different because normally trainer boxes, they go for what, $50? And right now people are paying 100 to 110 to $120 for a normally trainer box. Now, at this point, I've even said it before, I think buying an, even that we have these, Master Ball, things being confirmed, it's still sort of risky to buy at these prices because you don't know how much higher it's going to go because it's already gone up this high. However, we don't know. That's the other thing. We don't know exactly how high it can go. So it is risky in the sense that it is already double MSRP. Some other products are triple MSRP. But the thing is that, it's one of those things where, yeah, it is risky, but at the same time, in this sort of market, if you just always follow the thing that you're not going to fall into the hype and you're not going to buy at these prices and you're just going to wait for them to go to MSRP and crash, in this sort of market and based on the prints we're seeing here with just Scarlet and Violet and having all these supply issues, it just doesn't seem like that's really going to happen. Things are going to go back to MSRP at least anytime soon. So this whole idea to just wait off of any of these good sets, obviously Prismatic Evolutions, I think we could all say is a pretty just generally considered to be a good set. Same thing with Surging Sparks. I mean, people were hating on the Pikachu, but overall, just the majority of people knew that Surging Sparks was pretty much going to be the best main set we've seen so far, which is why I got hyped up that much. Same thing with Prismatic. This is a very good specialty set, has evolutions. Everyone just generally knows that this set is pretty good, and yeah, it's you can just not do anything with this market and participate in these hyped up things just because you want to be the outlier person and say, yeah, I'm just going to be doing the smart thing and buying these other boxes like Scarlet Violet base, some of these other things that aren't as hyped up. Long term, that's probably a good strategy, but in markets like these, when things are hot, yes, things will cool off in time, but you can use markets like these to your advantage. Obviously, you can get burned. Like I said, when things, especially Prismatic Evolutions, when they're this expensive, yes, you still should be cautious. But at the same time, if you're too cautious, you can miss out on some easy money. And with Prismatic Evolutions, I've explained this before. Prismatic Evolutions, even though these prices on TCG Player are like double, triple MSRP, there are places you can still find some decent deals on these. Yes, they're not MSRP, but they're not like crazy. And it's to the point where like some of these are marked up like not crazy enough where I would say that actually they're a decent low risk pickup, considering how the market is right now. And those are the types of things and the types of deals I've bought because, I just see like, yeah, it is marked up a little bit, but based on this market and the market price of these products and based on, this confirmation of master balls, like it's a calculated risk sort of. So the whole idea of smart money and just not participating or buying any of these products, it's going to work out in the long run 100%, but there's easy money to be made right now. But you shouldn't also get too, I guess, confident in these markets and just pay crazy amounts. Like you got to do a little bit of homework and figure out, just the price of these products, the demand, and just at the end of the day, you have to make your own decision. But the whole idea of just like smart money, it's true, but like I said, you can miss out on some easy gains, and you wouldn't be taking advantage of these markets. But hey, definitely it's less risky doing it that way. But for me, I'm willing to play the market a little bit and ride the wave and just buy some of these, even if it means I am going to pay a little bit more than MSRP. Because like Prismatic is sort of like Surging, where Surging was like the best main set. I just knew it was going to be like the best main set so far from Scarlet and Violet. I think for Prismatic Evolutions, it's kind of a toss up. I can't really just, completely knock away 151. But in terms of hype, in this being an evolution set, some may consider this being the best specialty set in Scarlet and Violet, at least for now, because there are the Master Balls. So just that factor alone, like, yes, the prices are crazy, but just knowing all, like, this is the EV set, the market we're in right now, Master Balls, it's like, if you're just going to follow the whole thing, not following the hype, I mean, you can miss out on some easy money. And that's why I changed my mind, guys. That's why I pre-ordered Prismatic, is because the confirmation of the Master Balls and just knowing that this is going to be, sometimes it's an instinct, right? Like with Surging, it was sort of an instinct. I bought all those booster boxes. Why? Because it was an instinct. I knew it was something like this was going to happen. It was kind of a calculated risk, buying all those boxes, but I was able to get them for such under market that I was like, you know what? It's kind of a low risk play. Sort of the same thing here. Like I've told you guys, my pre-order for Prismatic Evolutions, I had to pay more than MSRP, but not by a lot. And it's sort of a calculated risk, in that way, where yes, this is hyped up, and people are gonna. It said the same thing with Surging Sparks. It's gonna crash. I bet you when Prismatic comes out, and let's say we see some cards go to crazy amounts, the people that missed out, same thing with Surging Sparks, they're gonna say the same thing about Prismatic. So I just want to talk about this whole thing with, like, I guess smart money and just not following the hype. It can work out long run. It's less riskier, but in markets like these, you can ride the wave and you can make some good gains in these markets and use it to your advantage. But definitely, I always say this: just be cautious. Don't buy over your means or anything. But yeah, I definitely am one of those people that maybe is a little bit more risky, and I'm willing to ride the waves of these markets and try to take advantage so you can make some easy money. So that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.